What's up, everyone? Chris from PickDogs.com here with your live morning show. We always show up 24/7, 365, giving you guys some free picks. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different, I think, going forward. I'm going to be splitting the morning show duties with myself and Jay Briggs. So going to see some new faces around here, but hey, the content's still going to be the same. Still going to be the same. Still got quality cappers coming on, delivering free picks for you guys every single day. And today's going to be no different. We're going to see who pops on the show. We got a few cappers lined up, a few cappers in the green room already, and hopefully a couple more are going to pop on. I know Jay Briggs in Mexico right now, so he's going to try to go for the morning show tomorrow, but we'll have to see how that goes. I'll tell you, I was on a cruise, and it was extremely difficult to find the service or to be able to do anything. So, and I can already tell you, no Bryce Harper sighting on the show today. I heard his house got egged by somebody, but I don't know who it was. So we'll have to see if there's a statement from him coming out after the fact. But anyways, we'll start things off. We'll bring on Rod to talk about a game that I was really intrigued by and could hear his opinion on. Rod, how's it going?
Going good. Not a bad Friday. Looking forward to continue it right into this Saturday. Definitely some nice action here to make some money.
Yeah, Rod and I were talking about how the games that kind of got us yesterday, and for me, it was the Marlins. I caught the wrong side of the line move, and but you know what? That's yesterday. I like today's action. I like this game that you're going to talk about, Rob. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, we're going to head to the Orioles taking on the Cubs here, and you look, the Cubs got the winner in Game 1 with that hot offense. Holy man, they've been rolling with the bats. But we're going to check out the starting pitching matchup in this one first, and we look. Kyle Gibson gets a start for the Baltimore Orioles, and hey, he's been solid this season. 8-3 with 3.9 ERA and a 1.3 WHIP. And on the other side, Justin Steele is making his return after missing a couple games there with shoulder injury issue. Bouncing back into this one. We seen when he left those last two games that he pitched, he definitely was having issues. So hopefully that's all squared up, and I think it is because he was solid to start the year. 6-2 with a 2.65 ERA and a 1.06 WHIP. And you look at Steele, he's solid at home. 4-1 with a 2.43 ERA and a 1.16 WHIP. And the way that Cubs bats have been rolling right along, you look, what have they scored? 10 runs, 10 runs, 11 runs, 7 runs. They've scored 48 runs over the last 4 games. Holy, is the offense hot. And you know what? I think it continues here because you look over those last 5 games, this Cubs bats, they're batting over 350 versus 336 versus right-handed pitching. And I think it continues here. I think they're able to get the Gibson. And then you look when it throws it to that Baltimore bullpen over the last 5 games, it's been scary for the Baltimore bullpen. They're sporting ERA up over 8. So for me, the Cubs bullpen, it's sitting at about 3. So after Steele comes out, I don't know how long leash he's got. He usually goes about 5 innings, and I figure that 4 or 5 innings and throw it to the bullpen. Who's the Chicago bullpen over the last few games, sitting at about a 3 ERA. So kind of going to continue these hot bats with the Cubs and take the Cubs here to continue winning.
Yeah, this was one I struggled with. I could make a case, I think, for both sides. I see where you're coming from with Justin Steele. He's been one of my favorite pitchers to back for much of the season. I don't know. Kyle Gibson's just like that bug that never goes away. I mean, you think that he's going to get lit up. I mean, we've seen Kyle Gibson in the past. Look at last year. 10 wins, an ERA up over 5, and that's normally what we see from him. But he keeps finding ways to win games. And I don't know. I struggle with it. But then, like you said, the Cubs offense seemingly come out of nowhere. I mean, this was a team that looked dead in the water. As recently as like a week, 2 weeks ago. And now, like you said, 38 runs in the last 4 games. Yeah, it's I was kind of lost on this one. So,
right, and for me, I look at this one. And you look at Gibson in day games is what got me. Was he's 2-1, so sure he's got a winning record in day games, but he's sporting over 6 ERA during the day, and he's also got a 1.52 WHIP. So he's definitely gotten some guys on base and getting into some jams. So he's got pitched his way out of a couple jams with that 1.52 WHIP. And I think not today, not the way the Cubs bats are rolling. I'm going to go with the Cubs here.
Yeah, we're going to stick with the Cubs here. We've got a loaded Saturday. Nice baseball card. What do you got on the board for today, Pick Dogs Premium?
And over Pick Dogs Premium, my top plays on the board. I have my $19 MLB bookie bomb, and it's 15-7. We crushed it yesterday. Got a nice winner there. 15-7 the last 22 in that. I don't know where Pick Dogs scoop it up. I don't know, back-to-back winning days. Looking to make it 3 straight winning days. I've got that play over there for you. Head on over. Use that promo code PICK on all your purchases. Save 50% off. And head on over. Let's make some money today.
I can't argue with any of that, Rod. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Definitely. Have yourself a good day. Appreciate everybody. Good luck with all your bets today. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Sounds good, Rod. See you later. Rod's a wacky. Hockey season's over, but we still love even talking some baseball. I can't even be mad about it. I love talking with Rod about it. But let's move on. We'll bring on Al Ninos. See what Al's got. Al, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing all right. Plugging away. I'm gonna have to get used to this hosting seat for the next little bit. It's still gonna take a bit of getting used to, but
I'm sure you do just fine, Chris.
Nah, well, slowly but surely. I remember the first days hosting the drive-through and filling in. It was a bit of a mess. I think we saw a lot more Shane Mickle than we needed to when I was trying to change cameras. But that's neither here nor there. But
looks like we got that part down at least.
Well, it's what happens. You change the software a little bit, and it makes it a little bit more user friendly for a bit of bozo like me, and then it gets to be a little bit looks a little bit more smooth behind the scenes. But I was going to take a look at actually what I think was the marquee game yesterday, and I think has a pretty good chance to be sort of in that same vein today. What do you got, Al?
Yeah, it should be a great one, and a very, very good pitching matchup coming up too. You saw Zach Eflin had a great start to the season, but he's coming off his worst start of the year, and the Padres, on the other hand, Blake Snell wasn't off to an impressive start, but coming into this one really hot. Now the Rays do have the much better lineup, at least the much hotter lineup. A lot of big names in this Padres lineup, but it's been pretty disappointing for most of the season, and definitely one of the biggest underachievers of the year. But where they have improved, I mean, this team spent a lot of money. We hear a lot of talk about their lineup. Where they have improved a lot is their bullpen, and maybe one of the reasons I kind of a couple of reasons I kept me from making this a premium play was how well Snell's pitching coming into it and how good the Padres bullpen's been. But all that being said, I still think the Rays have been just way too hot and the Padres just way too disappointing. And as good as Snell's been and the Padres bullpen, I think that just give us plenty of great value on the Rays. So I'm going to take a shot with the Rays here. I think we're just getting some good value on them. It's the hottest team this year, and I think they stay hot here.
Yeah, this was another tough game. Again, I probably didn't go anywhere near for the premium side, but yeah, I think it's going to be a good one. My only concern with the Rays was that Eflin's ERA balloons on the road at home at Tropicana Field. He's been really, really good. So I think 7-0 with an ERA under 2. But you look at the other side, like I said, Blake Snell pitching really well, but I mean, 3-10 the Padres are as a team in his 13 starts this year. And I mean, he's given up 1 run or less in 4 straight, and the Padres, they have not fared well. I think they're just 2-2 in those 4 games. So, it says something when your pitcher throws 6 shutout innings and you still lose the game 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to win ball games that way. I mean, and especially when you have a lineup like that and you come out as a pitcher and then pitch that well, it's got to be got to take a toll on you not to come out with the win. But yeah, I mean, that's the way it's been for the Padres this year. Still some time to turn things around. They have the talent to do it, but they still have to do it.
Yeah, they definitely do. We got Al on the Tampa Bay Rays here. Al, what do you got going over at Pick Dogs Premium today?
I got 4 plays in all. Got my $19 Grand Slam. I got 2 other plays up there sold individually as well. But again, your best way to go is getting one of those long-term 2-for-1 capper passes.
Yeah, definitely long-term. Great way to go over it at Pick Dogs Premium. But Al, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. I appreciate you joining me today. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for hosting us, Chris.
Always a pleasure. All right, Al Ninos. over at Pick Dogs Premium. Next, we'll move on and bring on Ron Romanelli. Got Ron's rundown. A great day yesterday on the rundown from what I'm seeing in the comment section. Ron, how's it going today?
Hey, Chris, how you doing? Good morning.
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing as good as I can be.
Yeah, especially with a great baseball card like this today, and the game that you're looking at, a team I've been excited to watch a lot. The Cincinnati Reds going on,
Yeah.
and what do you got going on today?
Yeah, Cincinnati back to 500 now. The first time since they were 0-0, I believe. But this Reds team's playing good baseball. They brought up a lot of guys from the minor leagues, some of their prospects that were highly touted prospects, guys like De La Cruz, but other guys that have really stepped it up that not a lot of people expected to. But I think this is a pretty beneficial starting pitching matchup. Originally I was looking at this game and I was leaning towards taking the Reds in the full game. And I still like the Reds to win this game in the full game, but I think the better play would be the first 5 innings, because that's where I think that the Reds have their biggest advantage. The bullpens, I do think Houston does have the better bullpen. So if this is a close game late, I could see Houston eking out a W, but you are still getting a really good price on the Reds full game. I look at Brandon Bielak. You look at his numbers. He's got a 4.01 ERA this season. He's been decent in the role that the Astros have needed to play in. I mean, when Luis Garcia went down, a guy going into the season was one of their top 3 arms in the rotation. Bielak had to step up and get a lot of innings, and he's continued to pitch a lot of innings. He had 42 2/3 already. He's definitely going to have the most innings pitched this season in his career in any single season. But you look at that 4.01 ERA, and then look at that 6.36 expected ERA, the 5.55 FIP. You do expect some regression to be in the near future. And you look at the StatCast numbers, they're also not very good. I mean, he doesn't really earn a lot of strikeouts. His chase and whiff rate aren't great. He gives up a lot of sharp contact, bottom 2nd percentile in hard hit percentage, bottom 4th in expected slugging. So, I do think he has been one of the more fortunate starting pitchers this season, facing the Reds team that's hit lefties better than righties, but, they're just doing a good job offensively in general, playing very situational offense. And Hunter Green, I think, is one of the best options the Reds have in their rotation this season. I mean, he's got 12.97 Ks per 9, so he misses bats. Yes, he does give up the occasional home run. That's been the issue in his career so far, his young career. But a 4.01 ERA and even better, 3.57 xFIP, 3.5 expected ERA. I think he's good enough here to give the Reds 5 good, strong innings, and I think the Reds bats are going to back him up early on in this game against Bielak. Bielak's been better at Minute Maid Park than he's been on the road, but I just don't trust him here with those, really rough expected numbers. So I think we're getting value here, even with Cincinnati playing as good as they are. I still think we're getting value with the Reds in this spot. So I'll take them on the money line. You could lay a half a run in the first 5 innings, but you can also take a half run if you want to lay some juice. But I think Cincinnati is going to have the lead at the end of the first 5.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. The Cincinnati Reds are quickly becoming one of my favorite teams to watch. They brought up Ellie De La Cruz.
Yep.
It's that was 456-foot blast in his second game. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, though, and this is just an opinion question for you, Ron, but it almost feels like the NL Central has been flipped on its head right now, like compared to what we expected coming into the season.
Oh, definitely. And I honestly thought it was going to be a down year for the Brewers, and I'm still not sold on this team right now. They're only a game above 500, and they're still first place in that division. So even a team like the Cardinals, who are in last place and 8.5 back, I wouldn't count them out. I think this division is wide open, and any team can win it, I think. And I do think it's the worst division in baseball. So, we'll have to see if any of those teams that do win the division have much of a chance in the postseason.
What do you think? I'm going to ask you just your opinion. Cincinnati Reds a team we're going to have to watch in September?
No.
Okay. I think it's just right now, just sort of the honeymoon phase, and then it wears off. Yeah,
you don't get to play the Royals every day, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but the Reds to me just don't have the pitching staff. They've obviously suffered some injuries. I think if Ashcraft and Lodolo were what people were expecting going into the season, then maybe you'd have an argument. But the bullpen to me is just too dependent on a couple of guys like Diaz and Gibbo and Sims. Not the rest of the bullpen is very dicey, and the rotation's also not my favorite guys. Bringing up guys like Ben Lively and Brandon Williamson, I just don't think that's a playoff caliber team, and I don't even think the lineup's as playoff caliber either. I just think that like I said, situational offense that they've really been playing, small ball, they're stealing bases, just like last night. I mean, their offense didn't have a great day, but Stevenson's a home run in like the 6th inning. Very just situational offense is winning games for the Reds right now. So. They're winning games right now, but I don't think they're going to be doing too much later in the season.
Yeah, fair enough. I can't argue with that. I was a little bit more hopeful for him, but look at the state of that rotation. It kind of scares me a little bit. But anyways, Ron, we got it's a full 15 game card today over at Pick Dogs. What do you got on the board today?
Yeah, I got my $19 Ron's rundown. Best bet, we won last night, 15-5. Red Sox win. That was, a nice one to get. You don't get too many of those games where you can just turn it off in the third inning. But we've had 2 straight winners now, looking for a third here. It's going to be a late game, so you got plenty of time for that one. I also have a money line play in a different game that's for long-term subscribers. So you can check out my 3-day, 7-day, weekly, monthly, and weekly and 7 days, the same thing. But it's early this morning. I'm just waking up, so it's going to be a big day in baseball. I don't love the card as much as some other people I've talked to. I think yesterday's card was a little bit stronger, but I do the 2 plays that I do have in the premium area are pretty strong plays.
Yeah, I think that's what we tell everybody. You're not going to love the card every single day, but that just means that the plays you do like, gotta like them that much more. But like Ron said, the long-term pass the way to go. Even if we call it the weekly or the 7-day, it doesn't matter at all. It all still works out the same. Hey, but it's still early, like you said. Get some coffee and you'll be good to go. But appreciate it, Ron. Thanks for coming on, helping me out, and we'll see you tomorrow. Or actually, no, we won't see you tomorrow. We'll see you later on in the week. We'll see you every day with Ron's rundown.
Happy Father's Day to everybody.
So good. Take care, Ron. Ron Romanelli. Love having Ron on, talking shop, talking baseball. Love having him on for you guys as well. And move on, and someone I get to finally work with for the first time. I'm going to bring on Eric Pathy. Eric, how's it going?
Hey, buddy. I was just thinking, I was watching this rundown. I was talking to Mitch this morning. I was thinking, how many people on this show, their last name ends in a vowel?
Well, me, you.
Romanelli.
Zawacki, if you count Y.
Right, exactly.
I
was thinking it's like the old mafia movie. Everybody ends in a vowel here on the show.
And then I told Tony T. He sends me a picture earlier in the week about a group, a cover group in California called the Ruffalos, and I'm like, dude, Ruffalo here is like Smith. It's like
where are you located?
Yeah, exactly. You got Ruffalo in Italian's almost like Smith. You got like one on every corner. One's a barber, one's a lawyer, somewhere down the line.
Yeah, well, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, so we got Little Italy right up the street from the Camden Yards Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Are you a traveler of stadiums? I know a lot of my friends, they not gamblers, they'll try to hit every stadium. Are you one of those guys, or you're not really?
Funny enough, you ask. Last summer, I went to see an English soccer exhibition game that was at M&T Bank.
Nice.
And I stayed at the Lord Baltimore. I'm trying to remember where it was. There was a crab shack on the
right
on the street right by the right. I can't remember where exactly it was, but
so what did you think of my town?
It was beautiful. Beautiful. Loved how
everybody loved. It's funny. We're from here, so all we get is that's where the Wire is. So that's all I get my entire. I fly to Vegas and they go, Baltimore like the Wire. So it's not like it's that's TV. It's sensational. But talking about Baltimore, I was looking at losing streaks here. I don't know if you're aware of this. I've been discussing this with Mitch.
Yeah.
I've been listening to you guys for weeks, and obviously I'm not a handicapper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not into the stats, the trends, the ERAs. My 18-year-old's off camera. He knows more in his pinky about players and teams and trends than I'll ever know at 50. But what is interesting is that they won the World Series when I was 10 years old in 1983. And then in 1988, they had the second longest losing streak. They lost 19 games in a row, consecutive losing streak. And here we are in 2023, and they're the most profitable team in baseball, not only this year, last year. But here's what's interesting. Last year, as you know, they were dogs almost every game. Yeah. This year, after yesterday's loss, they're 26-7 as a favorite, and they're 17-18 as a dog. So they're actually under 500 as a dog this year, which just to show you the line makers have really adjusted on this team.
Yeah, I think that goes with just certain teams. Like there's I know this year there are teams like the Cubs, the Reds, even the Nationals earlier on, where there was that stigma that all this team does is lose. Right. And they're not going to get that respect. And then all of a sudden you had, like we were talking about with Ron just a minute ago, the Cincinnati Reds were all of a sudden at 500. And It's nuts. But that's something I did want to ask you about. It is our first time talking on a live show. And I've been looking forward to it. I know you're not a handicapper necessarily, just go by what you hear. How do you get the info? Is it just like long-term contracts?
So basically, my story is pretty well known, and Mitch is aware, and I don't want to bore you. And he said, I have to, I can't filibuster the show. I've been doing this since I got hired by a gentleman that's passed away. His name is Larry Ducart. He was basically originally a horse handicapper, because we're 5 minutes from Pimlico Racetrack.
Yeah.
And he used to make his own line prior to you being able to just open the paper or go onto the computer and get a line. So he was a line maker, and he had bookmakers across the country subscribing just for the line. Back then, it wasn't just selling picks. It was actually, you could be a bookmaker in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and your line on a game could be 6, and then you got a guy in Manhattan, his line's 9 on the same game. It wasn't like we had this national line. So I answered an ad for him when I was 15 years old. It said, "Do you like talking about sports? Earn $500 a week." It was a little business card. And I rode my skateboard up there, and long story short, I never left. So he was a professional gambler. He passed away in 2006, and I basically took over the operation. But, it's very unique in this industry to be in the same office, in the same location from 15 to 50. And I've never had another job. This was like a completely freak thing. And I came in from the non-fan side of it, watching the analytical side of it. You can Google people all these people are passed away and gone. The Kosher Boys, the Computer Group in the 1980s. All these guys were affiliated here in Baltimore, Maryland, because Baltimore has always been obviously a big gambling town because of the horse racing, even though I'm a horrible horse handicapper, but that's a whole other story. So basically, I never came into it from a handicapping point of view. And then as the years progress, and as you see this industry has exploded, you see everybody's, doing their own traditional handicapping, but I'm not a fan. It's very interesting. I'm not a fan. I don't watch games. My son's laughing off camera. I mean, he is obsessed. He does the fantasy in football. He does he all in. And we have guys in my office that are just all in. I don't know if you have children, but he is all in. He's actually not a bad line maker. I should give him a job. But I just don't enjoy watching games, because I think I was tainted getting the job at 15, that it was just like watching a stock on the board, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
And I'm not saying I take him to Raven games. I take him to Oriole games, but I'm not, for me, the panache of sitting at the end of your chair, watching the last play of the game. I'm so over it, man.
Yeah.
And I love the passion that you guys have of watching the games and watching the sports. And I know Mitch watches the sports, and I've had this conversation with Mitch and a lot of sharps around the world, which is that ironically, most of the guys that run these large betting syndicates, you hear that mysterious term all the time. They're the quant guys that couldn't name a player, would never turn on the TV. I walk into some of these offices in Vegas, and they have these rooms, and they just look like stock trading floors, and there's no TVs.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I know what you mean.
Do you get into live wagering? Because I have been in some rooms where now they are bringing in the TVs, and they're live wagering in real time, which is a whole nother way out of my scope.
Yeah, I really have only been betting on half times and stuff like that. The main markets where I hit it is soccer, but other than that,
me and you got to talk off air, because I had a guy in Portugal a couple years ago. You probably know the guy, and he's from Canada, and he moved to Portugal, and he was giving me. Ran a very large soccer syndicate, and he was giving me games.
mm-hmm.
The time, I would get him at weird times, obviously, because they're 6 hours ahead, same as London, and he went on this tear, we're probably talking 2015, 2016, where it was literally, he couldn't lose a game. And I was just like, this guy's going to go at some point, something has to give. And, there was a reversion of the mean back down. But I want to ask you, my business partner, who's a capper on the side as well, Mike Safir, he's originally from the Ukraine. He came here when he was 8 years old. So obviously soccer is in his blood.
Yeah.
And my father came here when he was 40 from another country. Soccer's in his blood. Do you believe that soccer is not as popular in the North American world I'll say America, not North America, because it is popular in Canada and Mexico because of the draw. I always thought that the draw kind of takes the excitement out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think the MLS has done its best to sort of reintegrate that excitement from their fan bases because, like you said, Canada, it's been exciting pretty much everywhere, and especially now that we're starting to get back into the World Cup. But yeah, the U.S., you're seeing it there as well. I think it's always been exciting. It's just now people are starting to resort of sort of their backgrounds and sort of, like I'm Italian, so if the Canada doesn't make the World Cup, I go with Italy. Same
Right.
thing. It's just you got all these pockets of people sort of.
Are you gonna? I don't know how far you are from Miami or where you're located, but are you going to pay the big money to go see?
I'm about an hour outside of Toronto, so I'm gonna go to the. I'm probably gonna try to see if I can go to the games up here, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I love Toronto. I actually went to an Oriole game in Toronto. I love that. I love it up there. You guys got a great, clean city.
Right, we try to. That's for sure.
But yeah, like I said, I wanted to talk about streaks. My complimentary selection I put out on the video today was the Angels. I'm sorry, Kansas City. Pardon my Kansas City. I'm gonna say it 3 times, so nobody says they got the wrong play. And I don't know if you guys have experienced that. Like people have watched my videos and then message me and go, "What did you give out for free?" I'm like, I don't like to say the opponent of the team because then you always run risk of somebody hearing
misconstruing it. Yeah.
Right. So apologies, Kansas City. I do believe in trend betting. Brainlessly, no handicapping. Looking at the streaks, the White Sox and Oakland have had the longest losing streaks in 2023. They've lost 11 games in a row, respectively. And it's very hard to hit that 10th loss or win in either direction. Kansas City did it last night. They lost. It's a short price. The Angels traveled from Texas to Kansas City. They got the win yesterday. But, I don't see this team losing 15. And again, anything's possible, as you know. I don't see the team losing 15, 20, 30 games in a row. And just like I couldn't take Oakland when they were losing because I knew that the streak was going to bounce. And look how much money you made if you grabbed that 7-0 on Oakland. So, from a value point of view and a trend point of view, you're always going to get the value taking the team on the losing streak. And just for listeners that have asked me, I don't know about you, Chris, a losing streak as the 8th game. So you lose 7 in a row, the 8th game. You win 7 in a row, the 8th game. Like you start feeling the angst when you get to that. Everybody knows you've lost 7 games in a row, you've won 7, which is why when you look at the board, you don't see a lot of streaks. It's a lot of chop.
For sure, I got you. I know I get 100% where you're coming from, but yeah. So we've got you on the Royals today, then.
Royals today, same thing on the video. So if you misheard me, Royals. But again, no handicapping, no ERAs, no great pitcher. Keep it simple, stupid. The Dime Club stuff is basically what I was brought on for, which is all much later, closer to game time via instant messaging service. And at 10:33 a.m., I'm in the same time as you. Obviously, it's just too early. None of these guys are sleeping in Vegas.
Yeah, no, I got you. And that's actually what the last point I wanted to bring up with you before we let you go was the Dime Club. I know we got a lot of people getting involved in it. Lots of other things on the way. We're just getting started, but yeah, the Dime Club's been a great success.
Yeah, since it started, just for a lot of people have been asking me, what we haven't integrated a way to put the results on the actual websites. As of yesterday, I think it was 7. I think it was. I can give you the exact numbers. We're currently in the last 30 days. We're 41, 30, and 3. 41 wins, 30 losses, and 3 since the inception of the Dime Club. And so again, you just like Mitch says, nobody's going to win every game. It's impossible. Since we've started, we are 73, 60, 60, and 5 in the last 30 days. Obviously, the pushes were basketball because obviously we had basketball at that point early on when we started. So we've released 138 selections. 54.9%, 73 wins, 60 losses. And again, how long have you been? If I can ask you a question, I know you're the host. How long have you been involved in this?
I've been writing for going on 7 years now, and doing the expert handicap stuff for about 3.
So let me ask you, then you can let me go. As a handicapper, how do you internalize losing streaks? Me, I'm agnostic. Winning streaks, losing streaks, I'm like a blank sheet of paper. I've literally like no emotion. It's just whatever. It's like the stock market. How about you?
I just acknowledge that it's part of the game. You're gonna have hot streaks. You're gonna have cold streaks. You live in the hot streak while you can, but you don't take it for granted. It's one day at a time, and that's what I'll tell you right now. I'm married in a bit of a cold streak, but hey, it takes one day to turn it around, and once you do, you just build on it. That's all it is. It's nature of the beast.
If I may ask you, then I promise my last question. With soccer, do you find so basically it's known in baseball betting circles? Dogs win 40% of the time. So if you bet every favorite, if you bet every dog, you're gonna be 4-6. If you bet every favorite, you're gonna be 6-4. This is over the last 20 years. Really never changes. It'll go from 42% down to 39%, but it's always basically. So my strategy 99% of the time is to only bet dogs. Is that equal in soccer, or because of the draw? Have you run the numbers where there's much more value on the dogs than the favorites?
No, I haven't run numbers in depth like that, but just from my personal experience, where I get the most kick is actually playing the draw, because I find that there's.
What about the plus half or plus one? The plus on the draw, you win that as well.
Yeah, I know one of our handicappers on the website, Gorn. He specializes in soccer. He plays a lot of the quote unquote the Asian lines on any book, which is like the plus a half, plus one.
Right.
I go for the big plus money payout with the draws a lot of times, just because there's something exciting to me that where you get paid if nothing happens. If you get a 0-0 game, you still get paid. So
right.
Then that's kind of where if a team's behind, they play for the draw sometimes if that's the only option they got. So
the guy in my office, Mike, it's like he would he says you can never because of extra time. There's never I got this and I got this. It's like. The minute it goes into extra time, it's like reset. I can lose this. This. Right.
100%.
Well, like I said, I'll be back here tomorrow. Like I said, before I take the kids out for Father's Day, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. And we'll see if Kansas City can end their losing streak.
All right. Well, Eric, appreciate you coming on. Lovely talking to you. And
you too,
we'll chat tomorrow.
You got it, buddy. Bye-bye.
Take care. Eric Fathy, it was great. Actually, it was great. I'm not surprised, but it was great. Great talking to him first time. Hopefully, first of many. Now that we're going to be switching up the hosting duties on the weekend show, but we'll bring in Wayne Scott. Wayne, been waiting long, and been patient in the green room. How you doing?
It's all good. What's going on, Chris? What's going on, Pig Dog family?
Doing well. I know we got a big baseball day today. Now you gotta be fairly quick with it. So what do you got on the card for us today?
I got 2 plays for y'all today, simply because my first play is the Mets minus 150. I do see that line jumping to 160, 165. Cardinals done lost 6 straight, 2-8 in their last 10. I know these guys just got to talking about the streaks and when they get on and when they get off and stuff like that. But I'm more of a feels guy, and I have been a Wainwright fan in the past, but I'm glad I kind of hopped off on it. I like to watch the game, so I've definitely seen the struggles, and haven't seen much turnaround from him. He's been getting smacked on the road. He's been getting smacked on day games. He's got smacked his last outing. On the other side of that, you got Singer 6-3 for the Mets. He's been outstanding in home games, very strong outings. In his last 2, he's been outstanding. So the pitching matchup definitely goes to the Mets. Bullpen wise, definitely goes to the Mets. Definitely when we're talking last 5, the Mets have a 1 ERA in the bullpen, while the Cards are at 6.4. Hitting wise, I will give the edge to right hand hitting to the Cardinals, but it's a slight hitting edge. When you got a team that's lost 6 straight and you can bet on them to turn around at plus 140, I would totally understand that, but that's not where I'm going with it today. I do feel like the Mets are the stronger team, definitely when you're getting them at home. They're 17-13 at home. Odds makers been pretty right when they've been in the favorite role. They do have a winning record at home when they're in the favorite role. And quite simply, they've smacked around St. Louis in the past, no matter how far you go back. So I like the Mets in that situation. But with it being minus 160, minus 165 on a team as crappy as the Mets have been playing, I can definitely understand if you want to stay away at it. 145, 150. Go ahead and play that. Another bet that I have for you guys is a 140 fight today on the zone card. We're going with Regis Prograis versus Zarilla. Regis Prograis is a name you guys will be hearing if you like boxing. He's at 140. His only loss was to Josh Taylor, the person that Theo beat last week, but that was a controversy fight. He had to go to UK to fight Josh Taylor, and I thought he edged that fight, but when you go into somebody's backyard and you try to win a fight, you got to win it decisively, or you're not always going to get that call. But in this fight, I like the under 7.5 rounds. Regis Prograis is 28-1, and he has stopped 24 of his opponents. And he hasn't fought in like the Kansas to get up here. He's taken the tough route. He stopped some great opponents. I can sit here and list them, but as Chris mentioned, I'm on a little time strain. But take the under 7.5 for the Regis Prograis versus Zarilla fight. Zarilla's a strong fighter. He's 7-1, but quite frankly, it's kind of padded stats. He hasn't fought in those guys, and when he steps in there with somebody as strong as Regis Prograis, who has the knockout power, and I believe he will stop this guy and get him out of there in under 7 rounds. So we got the Mets money line minus 150. We got Regis Prograis under 7.5 rounds at minus 110.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on the Mets play away, and I've given up on the Cardinals. I had them yesterday as a premium, and then they decided to, not get off the bus. So, yeah, I like Kodai Senga at home a lot more than I like Adam Wainwright in general. So I'm with you there. But like you said, you're on a bit of a time constraint. Want to make sure that you get everything in. So, what do you got today over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I've been rolling 2-1, 2-0. I've been having a great week and a great month, so I'm looking to continue that. I have my best bet in the MLB, and I have my 3-pack for you guys. A lot of value in there. You guys been talking about value. That's a way I love to go. I do like my favorites here and there, but it's definitely about finding the value on the board, as Eric just mentioned, going over the numbers how you can be successful betting the underdog. And I went that way today. So if you want to see who I got, if you want to pair me up with one of these top handicappers, or you just want an individual play, go ahead and scoop that up, and let's continue to cash, and let's continue to stay hot.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that. Wayne, like you said, it's been on fire last week, showing profit last week, last 30 days as well, and that's the best way to go, long term, or by checking out a 2-for-1 capper promotion. Pair Wayne up with anyone you see on the show today, or anyone on the website for that matter, and get the best possible value. I know I think you cover boxing as well on the website.
Yes, sir. Doing better with my free plays and my premiums on boxing, but you know how that goes sometimes. Regardless whether you taking my free plays or my premium, up on boxing this year. So I'm gonna continue to throw out these dogs and continue to cash on that boxing.
Hey man, as long as you give them out, people are happy, and not many people I know that know more about boxing than Wayne does. So definitely something you want to have in your corner on when you're looking at boxing. But Wayne, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you waiting, and we'll see you tomorrow.
I got a little question for you, Chris. I got my homeboy. I can be going to the casino where he's on these soccer games lately. Are you playing these soccer games when they get to the country versus country style?
You know what? Sometimes, but the problem is that right now I think they're doing what's called the Nations League. So they're it's not necessarily World Cup qualifying. It's a lot of these lesser teams that you maybe don't know a whole ton about. So I stick to, when it's an international thing like this, if the MLS is going like it is today, I maybe focus on the MLS, but nothing's stopping me from betting on Belgium and whoever they're playing today in Austria. So nothing's gonna stop me. That's degenerate betting, and it's fine. I think.
I was just about to say a little bit of degenerate in all of us up here.
Please, if you think I haven't stopped betting on Slovakia and Ireland, then yeah, you're on something else. I'll tell you that much.
All right, Chris, thank you for having me, brother, man. Appreciate you as always.
And I appreciate you coming on, Wayne. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Take care. Y'all take care. Picked up, fam.
All right, Wayne Scott on the weekend show. Love having Wayne on. Yeah, you had to poke out one of my flaws. Love betting degenerate European soccer, but that's okay. You know, it's what we do. It's what we're here for. But getting to my play. My play is going to be the last one on the board. Obviously, appreciate everyone coming on. All the cappers coming on, help me out today. Love talking with everyone, and appreciate all of you for tuning in and making this fairly easy sailing for me. And my first time hosting the weekend show in a little while. It's probably going to be my first of many going forward as well. So, but my play today is going to be on this matchup between the Marlins and the Nationals. And, for me, Jake Irvin starting for the Nationals today has been one of the bigger liabilities in this Nationals rotation. He's given up 4 more runs in 4 of his last 5 starts. The Nationals just not having a ton of success with him on the hill. They've actually lost Irvin's last 5 outings. And over that 5-start stretch, Jake Irvin posting an 8.41 ERA, a 6.72 FIP, suggesting that maybe he's getting a little bit unlucky there, but still, scoreboard doesn't care about how lucky you are. They just care about how many runs you're giving up. And for what it's worth, Irvin has been putting his team behind the 8 ball, and it's just it hasn't been a good look for Irvin. The Nationals have given up 8 or more runs in each of those 5 outings, and they've lost by a minimum of 2 runs in each. So I'm looking at the Miami Marlins here. I like Braxton Garrett. I like the way he's pitched, especially on the road. Last time out against the White Sox on the road, 5 1/3 shutout innings. The time before that, he gave up 2 runs at Coors, which is a bit of a feat in itself. 6 1/3 innings of shutout ball against a really good San Francisco team. Gave up just 1 hit in that start. I think that the Marlins have the starting pitching edge here. I think they have the edge on offense. I think they have the edge in the bullpen as well. I would go with the Marlins on the money line here. I know the price is rising around -165. So if you're not comfortable with that, I could see a run line victory, but I'm more comfortable just playing the money line here. I think that's sort of on the fringe of where I'm willing to lay it. But I'm taking the Marlins, and for me over Pick Dogs Premium today, got my $19 MLB pickoff play. Working on a couple more plays to throw in quickly, put up a 3-pack as well, and definitely long-term the way to go. Put up my Wild Weekend All Access Pass, a 3-day pass for $69. So make sure you go on over and check that out at Pick Dogs Premium, or pair me up with any of the other great handicappers that you saw on today's show. But appreciate everyone for coming on, tuning in, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Another loaded card, Father's Day, some great baseball action, and have a good day. Let's cash some tickets, and let's crush the books on Saturday.